Everyone, a small tri-state city is struggling tonight to figure out how to pick up the pieces after a fire kills 5 people.
2 adults and 3 children died when flames broke out at about 1 this morning in a row house on West 2nd Street in Maysville. That's where Local 12's Larry Davis begins our team coverage. Larry?
Hi, Rob. Well, firefighters spent the better part of 14 hours on the scene here. They moved out about 2 hours ago here on 2nd Street. You can see the row house here behind me. The darker brown one was the one that was gutted, and that's where the victims were killed in that fire. People here have been all in shock all afternoon. The people, family members have been showing up here. They lost a mother and 3 children. They have been identified as 35-year-old Lori Doppelhauer, 10-year-old Christopher Kearney, 3-year-old Eason Hargis, and 1-year-old Kieran Hargis. The father and 2 children escaped from that fire. An elderly neighbor also died. He's been identified as 68-year-old Larry Brickles. But one neighbor says she owes her life to the mother who would end up losing hers. Firefighters sifted through the rubble looking for a cause. Tricia Keaton was being comforted, knowing she was alive, thanks to the bravery of a young mom who would later lose her life. She remembers her good neighbor alerting her to the early morning fire.
Knocking on that front door that was locked, wake up, and that's the last I heard her voice, and I heard help, help, and everything was engulfed in flames. She went back in to save her babies and didn't make it back out.
Once outside, Keaton saw flames and smoke, and the father of the children trying to go back inside the burning apartment.
And the father crying for help and everything, trying to get people to get help because he didn't have a phone, so he couldn't call nobody. And just screaming for help, get somebody to help.
Later, that unidentified father would be seen sitting on a stoop in shock. Later, he stood outside his burned-out home as firefighters conducted their investigation. Ruth Austin also lives in the row house. She also escaped the fire.
And then the neighbor upstairs come down and hollered, "We got to get out." Got my animals to come out, and those 3 buildings were ablaze.
Fire investigators say the blaze started in an enclosed porch in the back of the building. They say it was evident the mother and 3 children were trying to escape. There were no working smoke detectors in their apartment, but there was one in the unit where the other victim was found. On the job for only 2 months, Fire Chief Kevin Doyle was emotional as he talked about the tragedy and its impact on this tight community.
We're a relatively small town, kind of everybody knows everybody sort of thing, and people are generally pretty neighborly here. So absolutely there's going to be an emotional impact, not only to neighbors and friends, but to anybody in the community.
And Rob and Cammie, this community is grieving tonight. You can still see the gutted building here, the crumpled roof. The fire chief says this place went up like kindling wood. Live in Maysville, Larry Davis, Local 12 News. Rob and Cammie, back to you.
So Larry, to be clear, the mom got out of the building, helped this other woman escape, and then went back in to save her kids, and that's when she lost her life. Is that true? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what the neighbor told us this morning, that she heard the knock on the door. She heard that the mother of the children come knocking on the door, told her to get out. She said those were the last words that she heard. And then the mother, she said, went back to the apartment to try to rescue her children, but to no avail.
It's just heartbreaking. Larry, thank you.
And because this fire spread